Hey guys, this is Harith. Welcome back to True Space. Right now, I'm gonna speak about how our mind is the representation of the symbol of heaven, and how our body is the representation of earth. And what do they mean in the Bible on bringing heaven to earth? So you gotta understand everything within our physical reality was created of someone's mind. If someone had to think about it, feel about it, practicalize it, uh, be passionate about it, try to give birth to it in physical reality for it to happen. Even to the point we could argue your own physical body came up from your mind, which is a point that majority of people are not gonna willing to argue or start from because it's quite scary to know that you create your own reality and things along this line. But for us to understand this, we gotta realize, like I said earlier, everything came from someone's mind. Therefore, if you want to do something in physical reality, you gotta be able to come up with the thoughts, the ideas, the masculine energy, with the feelings and emotion, and put them together to be able to create energy so you could do something within physical reality. And if you're not able to do that, you're not going to be able to do something within your physical reality. It's very hard to do something around us if we cannot think about it, especially if we do not feel emotionally connected to it, because our emotion represent fire and water. This is our the energy for our spaceship. You could think about our spaceship or that image as air and earth. So but for that spaceship, that air and earth to get manifested, and for us to chase after it, it gotta have more of the fire and the water element. It gotta look emotionally attractive. It gotta look beautifully. It can't just make logical sense and things along this line. This is why people there's a lot of things people cannot do due to the simple fact that they're not able to correlate their mind properly. If you want to start a business on this a mental level, like you're thinking about it, sometimes it's very hard to do that without adding your emotions and feelings, which are your energy source. Or if you're someone who just utilize emotions and feeling and trying to feel his way through everything, you're not gonna be able to structure these emotions and feeling in the right logical way for it to make sense, so you could get to where you need to do. So you can see how if you get lost or unpolarized in each of these energies, which is the masculine energy dealing with logic, intellect, or you get unpolarized to the feminine energy dealing with the feeling and emotion, this will manifest as some form of dysfunction within your physical reality. This is why it's so important for you to fight so hard to maintain equilibrium within your own mind, so you don't play out some form of gender war externally or internally, which was happening right now in the internet. We have this gender war that's going on due to what's happening within everybody nature, and then people are propelling it using the media and things along this line. But this would never happen if we were able to correlate our mind properly, aka allowing ourselves to be centered between what makes sense and our feelings and emotion. And if we could stay centered, the more we're able to utilize both of them and enjoy the beauty of these things. Like it's so uh kind of fucked up in a sense that a lot of people are just attracted to the masculine energy, aka men, or people are just attracted to the feminine energy, feelings and emotion. It plays in the third dimension. Each gender prefer those type of energies, but really, you want to be the person who's able to utilize both energy, was going to allow you to enjoy the both aspect of what these energies provide, because these energy is what all of us utilize, but a lot of us subconsciously use one more side of the energy more than the other. And the more we could bring equilibrium to that aspect, the more we can have a healthier life, but also have a healthier existence. Because whether you realize it or not, since your mind produce masculine and feminine energy, and your body is controlled by your mind, some of your organs or your physical aspect of your body is connected to your feelings and emotion, and the other aspect connected to the masculine energy, your thoughts and ideas. So you got masculine organs and you got feminine organs, and your masculine organs and your feminine organs are supposed to have sex together. That's how your body work together. Like no one ever told you, like, say your lungs have sex with your heart and things along this line. But if you look at it from an astrology point of view, your lungs represent Gemini and your heart represents Leo, and they sextile each other. But majority people don't think about it this way. And if we don't know how to combine these energies, that sextile energy, we're gonna end up having a lot of squares and opposition, which play out as biological dysfunction and things along this line, which is gonna be very you're gonna be very stiff, very tired, and things along this line. But you're gonna have to learn how to utilize both of them if you don't wanna kind of get lost. But like I was saying earlier, our physical reality basically gets created through our mind, and the more we can learn how to correlate our mind properly, our heaven, and learn how to stay more in that lighter realm of existence of reality, because we understand that the heaven is the air element. The air element deal with our thoughts, ideas, intellect, what makes sense. And if we could see the thoughts and ideas of people, or the informations that's going on with the reality, we could kind of understand how or what's going to happen next in physical reality, because we understand the air element becomes the earth element. So if we know that, we could backtrack what's going to become practical or secure through the air element. So right now, as we finished Saturn in Aquarius, a lot of us should have learned about all the new associate, all the new technology, all the new information that been really manifested through Saturn, forcing us to go through harsh lessons so we could learn how to create more restrictions and boundaries on who we're associated with and the information we're associated with. And that is so important, because all these informations, the air element, the thoughts and ideas, the association, the conversation, become eventually physical reality, and no one sees that coming. But the people who see that coming are the people who keep up with the news. And you think about the news is like the air. It's like the air element. They present information. This could happen, this could not happen. But if you take your time and study the news, the information, what's going on with the market, you might catch an opportunity that no one ever see. But this is why, like I said, this is why it's so important for us to learn how to stay more in that realm of existence. It's a lighter realm of existence, as opposed to the earth element. The earth element deal with practicality, what makes sense, what have been safe and securitized over and over. But the air element is not tested fully yet. But that's the whole point of it. We test out the practicality of things in our mind first before they play out in physical reality, which is very important. If we cannot think about it, we're not going to be able to do it within our physical reality, because the air element, the word, allows to encapsulate the fire, the vision, imagination, and the feelings and the emotion. This is why we need to correlate our heaven, our thoughts and ideas, so we don't get lost in these. And the more you can understand how your heavens, your air element is produced, it comes from your fire and water, you know the source of your heaven, what gives your heaven energy, your mind and mentality, then they will give you the power to really control your physical reality. Because a lot of people, a majority of people, are lost in their left brain energies. They're lost in the earth element, practicality, what makes sense. So when you speak to them about the air element, they could see how that makes sense, but sometimes that still does not make sense. This is why it plays out through Gemini. They're not trustworthy, too curious, they don't make sense, and shit like that. But that happens because you gotta understand that the air element is basically almost like the speculative aspect of the earth element, in the sense that the earth element is almost like the operative, the practical aspect of the air element, which is really beautifully, if you could understand it, as opposed to being one of these people who make these elements or these different mental attributes of us fight against each other. For example, using your fire to fight against your water, or using the air element to fight against the earth element, as opposed to learning how to be an avatar, learning how to use your visions, imaginations, and then your feelings and emotion, your water cycle, and then learning how to produce thoughts and ideas based on those, encapsulate a word. What do you can you communicate based on that vision and that emotional state of being? And then that leads you to a word, a way of communicating something that could lead you to manifesting and practical reality, if you're willing to be consistent with pushing it, externalizing it. Because we gotta realize this: we externalize our mind, we externalize our thoughts and ideas. And a lot of time when people are having arguments, they're having debates, they're having like a nice conversation, it's almost like Star Wars. We're shooting all these different thoughts, ideas, feelings, emotions, and different water cycles, different flames, different ways that it plays out. But it plays out through human having conversation, really And if you, this is why people actually enjoy debates, this is why people enjoy arguments, this is why people enjoy these type of things, because it gives us all these different aspects that we could analyze and build on our own mind and a mentality which could benefit us. This is why people like want to be around smart people and shit like that. But this that's another topic, because sometimes smart people, it could lead to another situation because they overutilize their left brain energy too much, which prevent them from tapping into their right brain energy. This is why, like we said earlier, you need the balance between both of them, so you don't get lost in the masculine energy, you get lost in your men, or you don't get lost in your feminine energy, your feelings and your emotions, your women. And all these things are very important to keep in mind, because a lot of time in physical reality we get lost so quickly, we get reminded with our physical reality so quickly, with bills, taxes, your parents, what's around you, ads and things like that. It always brings you to physical reality. This is why you have to fight so hard to stay in this higher realm of reality of your mind, so you don't get lost in physical reality and depend on your physical reality on everything, and you forget that your mind created everything. So the more you learn how to stay within your mind through detaching from physical reality and the things they provided with for you, like if you could stop overindulging, that's like a great way to start, because basically the more you detach from physical reality through food, like fasting, through meditation, creating your own job and things like that, you basically go to your own higher realm of reality. You're detaching from reality, and every single time a person who detached from reality is going to be able to bring into existence something that never happened before. Because if you are a person who stays in reality, all you see is reality, then you're not going to be able to bring anything new from all possibility into reality. And so this is why it's dangerous for us to always stay in reality, or to look for more realistic things, all the way to the point that people, they have certain concept like, I wouldn't watch certain movies or watch certain like anime or things along this line, because anime or these things are unrealistic. They prefer to watch more physical things. But if you realize the whole existence of life itself is unrealistic, because we created everything from our mind all the way to our physical body, then you wouldn't come up with that state and preferring realistic things. That's what I'm saying. They're training people to focus on the earth element, practicality, what makes sense, money and taxes, which I'm not saying we should. We, of course we should, but we can't forget the other air element, what makes sense, our communication, what we're analyzing, what we're thinking about, and what we're feeling, what we're emotionally connected to, the water element, and also the fire element, what we're passionate and aggressive about. All these elements are important, and that's how you basically create your mind. So use some fire element, use the water element, and use the earth element, and use the air element to create your own basic mentality. And we could see that in reality through you having different attributes. For example, some people like to be communicative. We could say this person within physical reality utilize the air element. We could see someone who's very good at practicality, making sense, creating details, bringing the information. This guy is good as utilizing the earth element. Another person he's passionate, he's aggressive, he's inspiring. This person is very good in reality utilizing the fire element. We could see someone who's empathic, emotionally is able to connect with everybody. That's a person who's able to use the water element. But uh, for us to be able to understand basically the elements, we gotta obviously maybe start from the starting point of maybe studying how it plays out in our reality, because a lot of time we cannot conceptualize these things within ourselves, because everything happens within our mind so quickly to the point that we create darkness, because we bring all these energies together so quickly that we don't realize what happens. This is why it's so important, like Dolo speaks about basically separating your energy, separating your thoughts and ideas, your feelings and emotions, so you can see things clearly, so you don't get lost in either of them. Because a lot of time we become our creations. We create our thoughts, ideas, and feelings and emotion, and then we get lost in them, and then we forget that we are the creator who created them, and then we become the subject of our own creation. And this is why it plays out in humanity all the way to the point that we, like, literally you could say humanity enslaved themselves, and it played out in many different shapes, shapes and form. And you can't really debate even the concept of slavery, because you could argue that it even starts within you internally first. So this is why obviously this video is about learning about how our mind is the representation of heaven. And the more we can know what is going on with heaven, the more we're gonna know what's going on earth. And a great way to know that is astrology, because astrology basically is how we understand what's going on with heaven. And think about heaven is space. What's going on with space? There's the sun and the moon, there's the stars, and all these things move in different pattern, which correlate with different energy, which play out through different it plays out different weather systems, and it plays out a different aspect within reality. But a lot of time, due to it being labeled pseudoscience, a lot of time we don't understand how it becomes reality in that sense. So we got to be careful. But through understanding astrology, we learn how our mind basically works in physical reality. For example, if you don't understand astrology, you wouldn't understand that how like, almost like oppositions work in reality. But and how why actually opposition are one of the best kind of opportunity to deal with, because it allow you to add two opposite energies that do not get along together in a way that might work. But the way the concept of opposition is presented to people is like they're evil, or they don't have to do with each other, or they don't get along. But that's the whole point. They don't get along, which is the point of that is for us to make it get along together. This is why, for example, Cancer, the fourth house, deal with home, your domestic issues. And then what's opposite to it? Capricorn, it deal with our business as status. A lot of time people be like, oh, separate your home and your business, which is good. It does make sense. You can't let your family and what's going on with your home to affect your business and your status. But a lot of times the most successful people are the people who are able to combine their home and family with their business and status. Think about all the monarchs. Think about the people who rule businesses, company based upon family, bloodline, association, something way deeper than this conversation. Like there's a this is why opposition like almost produce the most enormous energy within our physical reality, while the other energies do not, because these are the easier energies. As sextile, you're seeing an opportunity, or a trine, which is gonna give you the ability to create more opportunities. But a lot of time we're taught to look at certain things with a negative point of view, which is very important to point out. So by understanding certain aspect of astrology, we can understand also how to do things at certain times. These certain times obviously exist in reality for a reason, all the way to the point that you can see people do things at certain times every day, to the point that you can't even argue about it. For example, the sun, when the sun rises, for some reason a lot of animals wake up. It's almost like an event that forces everybody in reality to wake up. You as a human, you could choose not to wake up and say you could go against the sun and things along this line. But if you choose to wake up extremely late, you're gonna feel bad, or you're gonna feel kind of awkward because you kind of missed that event, or you missed that basically what happened, the biological astrological event which you're supposed to actually follow it through. This is why the best systems, all the way to the point that like work, or when we went to school, we all went there in the morning, and that's how they construct everything. And if you don't construct your time around what's happening with the sun and the moon, you're gonna be completely almost lost in physical reality, because that's what they do in reality. All these holidays, Christmas and things along this line, are done at certain holidays or certain period of times that deal with certain energies for them even to work, and things like that basically. And basically this is how your mind become is the representation of heaven, and how it becomes your physical reality through your body. We gotta realize, like I said earlier, we practice thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and we put them together to do certain things in our physical reality. And the more we're able to do these different mental attributes and expand and contract in different aspects of it, we're gonna be able to expand and contract in different aspect of what's practical and what makes sense, and do different unique and original things. And thank you for listening.